All right, guys, going to do another Yeti versus Ozark Trail comparison. This will be the 12-ounce original Colster versus the Ozark Trail 12-ounce can cooler. The Colsters are not available. The first generation Colster is not available on Yeti.com anymore. They changed the design a little bit. It's essentially the same thing. The redesigned gasket and redesigned bottom. They also have a 16-ounce Tallboy Colster and a slim can Colster for White Claws and things like that. That just became available with the new design. This is the original design. It's been around for years. It's probably can get one for like $18 to $20 at your local sporting goods store. And the Ozark Trail is, I think it's $5.74 on Walmart.com. That's what it is. So what we're going to do today is a pretty simple test. I'm going to place a ice cold Coors that just came out of my beer fridge in each one. Leave it here in the garage. It's probably going to be around 80 degrees in here today. Come back in about 4 hours and see if those mountains are still blue. The Yeti. These things are so similar that even these gaskets interchange. So you can, if you mix them up, it's really no big deal. All right, so let's get started. My gut feeling is they'll be exactly the same. Got them in there, as you can see, they fit fine. It's a little bit of a tighter fit with the Yeti versus Ozark Trail. I actually use the Ozark Trail more frequently. I don't know why, it just is the one I grab. There is some slight durability issues with Ozark Trail. This gasket here, the metal sleeve has came off a few times. It's just really very lightly glued, and it just kind of held off the pressure now, but it will separate. With it off, it's indistinguishable from the Yeti. All right, so I'll put that back on, and we'll come back in a few hours to see if those mountains are still blue. Okay, so it's been 2 hours, and I came out to check on the beer, and I decided we need to put a control for our experiment. So I got a beer I just pulled out of the fridge, and we'll leave it here and see how long it takes for it, without the Colster or can cooler in place, for it to lose its blue tint of the mountains. You can see there's a lot of sweating on both the beers up top, and so probably performance will be better for a standard 12-ounce can that's more fully covered by the Colster, because the coolers are a little bit thinner in the top, and a little thinner and taller. The silver bullets are, so they're poking out the top of the Colsters a bit more than a standard can would. So we'll come back and check on these again, probably an hour or so to check on our control, and because I think these will still be cold. I haven't removed these from the Colsters because I can tell from touching the top that the mountains would still be blue. Okay, guys, it's been 4 hours since we put the Coors Lights in the Colsters, and then as you can see, it's been 2 hours since we put the control subject out, and the mountains are still a little bit blue. I mean, that beer's still drinkable, but it's not optimally cold. Let's see. And the glasses, you can see a little bit blue also there too. All right, and here's the Ozark Trail. That beer, 4 hours, is much colder than the control subject. And here's the Yeti. And that is probably colder still also. You can see there's a little bit deeper blue there on the mountains versus the Ozark Trail. But the Ozark Trail did perform very nicely, and there's the blue on the chilled glasses, and it's probably the same. Subjectively, the Yeti's a little bit cooler. So we'll put these back in, and we'll retest in 2 hours. Okay, we're at hour 6 of the challenge. This has only been out for 4 hours. It's really close to room temperature. It's probably like 60 degrees. This is the Yeti. As you can see, the mountains are a little bit deeper blue, not very much. The Ozark Trail is a little bit more blue than our control, and still drinkable. That's still a drinkable temperature. And this is quite a bit, it's colder, a few degrees colder. So we'll come back in another hour to see if the beers and the Colsters have fully warmed up. Okay, this is hour 7 update. It's hour 5 on our control subject. It's basically room temperature. This is the Ozark Trail, and it's still pretty cool. It's still drinkable probably. And the Yeti is still drinkable. You can see by looking at the mountains, it's kind of a gray color, and that is kind of a gray color as well. I mean, it's hard to tell. Those are basically the same. Perhaps that's a little bit more blue. Down here, basically the same. They're still cool. You definitely still drink those at hour 7. All right, we'll come back in an hour and check it here at hour 8. Of course, this beer's at room temperature has been at a less than palatable temperature for at least since the 2-hour mark onward for sure. And these have all gotten where they're cooler than room temperature, but it would not be palatable anymore. And the mountains are definitely not blue anymore. Both of these are the same, subjectively the same temperature. So it's a pretty good example to show you that the Colsters or the Can Cooler respectively can keep the beer at least palatably cool for about 7 hours if the beer is unopened. So there's no, according to this, very scientific testing, there's really no difference in the quality or the capability of the Colster versus the Can Coolers. The Can Cooler's about a third of the cost of the Colster. So you can get the Yeti product if you like, or the Ozark Trail product if you like, but it'll do an effective job keeping your beer cool for an extended period of time, much longer than necessary. I actually end up using the Ozark Trail Can Cooler a little bit more than the Yeti Colster because the gasket's just a little bit looser and the Coors Light can slip through a little bit easier. So that completes our testing for the day, and I hope you guys have a great summer.